Welcome back to the OKC Foodcast. You are joined once again by your hosts, Nabil
and Ashley Gardner.
And this time, we've brought two people in the studio.
What? Double time.
Double trouble. Number one right here.
Number one.
Number two.
Welcome, Miguel Soares and Dom Noel with Rome Coffee Company.
How you guys doing today?
Yeah, it's good to be here. Thanks for having us.
And Dom's street name is Noel Christmas
time. Yeah, so we're excited to have you guys on. I cannot wait to dive into the cold brew, your deliciousness.
Yeah. Well,
your deliciousness.
Nice.
The delicious thing that you brew.
I don't think you can spin that.
I like the first version of that better.
I can't wait to dive into your deliciousness.
We should, okay,
that?
moving on.
We lasted 30 seconds before it fell
gosh.
apart.
Thank you for bringing some of your deliciousness.
It's our pleasure.
Eat of the week. Let's just bypass that. Eat of the week. So I'll go first because I had an extraordinary eat of the week this week.
Extraordinary.
I would say so. I went to the Pritchard in the Plaza District and had brunch with my mom, and it was so good. My mom had the Bloody Maria, and I had the Flaming Carrot cocktail, where they do a orange habanero infused vodka. And then they add carrot juice, pineapple, and do a mango chili salt on the rim. You know how I like my spicy drinks.
That sounds like a lot going on in there.
Yeah, it was, it was really refreshing, really, really refreshing. So the cocktail, awesome. The charcuterie board, fantastic. And then... we did the fried green breakfast that is like Brussels sprouts. It's just the leaves of the Brussels sprouts that they get really, really crispy. A slow cooked egg, so that kind of gives you the sauce with the Brussels.
Slow cooked eggs.
Oh yeah, and then amazing bacon, and then they also it came with a biscuit, a homemade biscuit.
Nice.
And their homemade jam. All of it, so good.
I love homemade jams too.
Yeah.
Why wasn't I there?
I know.
Why aren't we there now?
Right?
All right, we're moving.
Yeah. And then this other dish, I can't remember the name of it off the top of my head, but it was like a potato and cheese blend pancake with prosciutto on top. And another slow-cooked egg. It was just
It was all about the eggs.
So good.
That sounds amazing.
She's winning over there. Right
Yeah, I won that day with that brunch. So, Pritchard, good job.
Nice.
Yeah.
My eat of the week is someplace that we have talked about, and we've actually had him on the podcast.
Oh,
and he's the one who told me to try this. And it was at Scotty's Deli.
Yeah.
So shout out to Eric. And I had the Langer's number 19, the pastrami that they make in-house.
Oh, that sounds amazing.
It was amazing.
Yeah.
I love pastrami.
I'm telling you, this pastrami was so good. On their rye bread, slaw, cheese, I'm going to say it again, it was so good.
Yeah.
I added jalapenos to it because I do like a little bit of heat. Mm-hmm. And then he kindly informed me, he's like, you should have gotten the jalapeno slaw. Ooh. And I was like, you have a jalapeno slaw?
What? Game
so
changer.
Next time, I'm getting it again with the jalapeno slaw.
Yeah.
That's how he keeps making me come back.
Nice.
Like,
Yeah.
I'm going to keep getting the same thing until I perfect what I get on it.
And we talked about that specific sandwich when he was on, and that coleslaw is so good.
Yeah. It was really light.
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't one of those heavy slaws that you're like, okay, I have too much coleslaw.
Yeah. No.
Right.
I mean,
really
you probably
light.
thought I was crazy whenever I was like, but you're coleslaw, dude.
Yeah.
Like,
I thought you were, but I tried it.
And now you know. Now you know. So, Miguel, what would you say your eat of the week was?
Man, I am not this last week has not been as adventurous as I would have liked. We've been so busy, so going out to a bunch of these great restaurants hasn't been on the top of the list.
Right.
However, Are you guys familiar with Big Bun's Bakery?
Yes,
I am not.
I've never been, but I follow them on Instagram, and their pictures are beautiful.
So they decided to do. We're co-located where we produce. So
Okay.
and they were doing this chocolate bun, and it was. So I don't know if you guys know the way they make their buns, but it's like croissant dough, and they roll it over multiple times, and then they shape it like an actual bun. So you get the look of the bun, but the taste and consistency is completely
Like a
different.
roll.
Oh, that's awesome.
Right. So, but he did it with all the dough being made with chocolate, which is something I've
Yeah.
never ever tried before. So, anyway, I asked him. I think I actually pleaded with him to save me one, and it just so happened that actually at the farmers market this week, and he delivered that, and it was I hid it in my cooler because I didn't want to shame eat in public.
Right.
And then when I got home, I tried that, and it was incredible. So. I don't know. He doesn't make them all the time, but if he does make those again, and I'll
Get
definitely be getting some more of those.
Yeah.
Did you really hide it?
Oh yeah, absolutely hit it.
Because
Yeah.
you've been known to eat buns in public.
It's
Just saying. I've been at the market with you while you're doing that.
trying to turn a new leaf.
That sounds really good.
So does the dessert count, or does it have to be a meal?
No.
Yeah.
Anything you ate.
Anything.
Okay, I'm going with that then.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's awesome. That sounds really good.
Dom, what about? Oh, you got more?
No, I was
You
gonna say
wanna-
just Steve Watson. A little shout out to him and his
Big buns.
delicious
Big
buns.
buns.
Big
Yeah.
Buns, Big Buns Bakery.
Nice.
He's definitely awesome. Like I said, we're neighbors at the Oklahoma State OSU OKC but farmers market. But for me, mine was a lunch. I typically have lunch with some friends, coworkers, weekly, and this week we went to Couscous Cafe.
Okay.
So we kind of had their like trio meat plate with their in-house couscous. So I had gyro meat with some lamb, as well as some of their falafels and things like that.
Yum.
So that was kind of the meal that I enjoyed the most this week. But as far as my treat, my eat, my 4-year-old daughter actually has started to do the Kidster program.
Oh yeah.
And my mother-in-law and her made some homemade banana nut muffins.
Nice.
So they were really awesome, and the fact that it was made by my daughter made it even that much
You
more
gotta
love
special.
this.
So
Yeah.
it was really awesome. So I think the treat of the week was definitely the banana nut muffins that I had from my
Nice.
daughter Ella. So
I like that treat of the week.
Yeah.
treat,
Like a
eat,
guilty pleasure that you ate this week
for sure.
Yeah.
that you're not gonna
I mean, I
admit
feel
to
like
anywhere else.
I don't always have wine. I mean, I was gonna say dessert, but I could say wine
Wine.
instead. I swear I haven't been.
I guess
drinking
that's a
today.
treat.
Whatever makes you feel good.
That's right.
All right, so let's dive into Rome Coffee Company. So first of all, it's a incredible cold brew coffee.
It really is.
We appreciate it.
It
Yeah.
is. And we wouldn't just be saying that because you're sitting here.
Right.
Or that we know jujitsu.
That might have a little bit of an influence.
Jiu-jitsu is the reason. No, it really, really is incredible. So I want to dive into everything Rome Coffee.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So let's kick it off with where are you guys from?
You want to start, Dom?
Yeah, I was originally born in Ludwigshafen, Germany. My mom is 100% German. My father is from Trinidad and Tobago. He came to the United States when he was about 16, 17, ended up finishing high school, joining the military, went over to Germany, met my mom. That's how I was conceived.
Okay, so we're going that far back.
So that's where he's from.
That's where I'm from. But actually ended up staying there for a few years. Kind of grew up. That's where the root started. So yeah, that's where I was born.
Well,
You can't beat that.
I'm from my mom and dad.
I'm not going to talk about conception, but I was I was born and raised in Portugal, São Miguel. It's one of the islands off the coast of Portugal. My mom did a lot of international work, so she worked in London for a while. She's a linguist, so eventually she came stateside, and I followed because that's what children do. Mm-hmm. And we moved to Boston, just south of Boston, and hail from Massachusetts. then I joined the Marine Corps when I was 18 and traveled around a little bit more after that. So,
Very
but yeah,
cool.
born and raised in Portugal.
Wait, so you were named after the island?
No, Miguel is Michael. It's not that. That's well. See, now you put me on the spot. No, I don't.
what we do
I don't.
here.
I don't believe so.
The
I don't believe
the
so.
truth is, he didn't really tell you his full correct name.
Oh, we're
but
going there.
That's a different story.
Well, we went to his conception, so we
Yeah.
gotta.
No, is your podcast 4 hours? Because
Long
that's
enough.
how long it would take to go through every single one of his names, probably.
I do have a long name. It's just kind of a Portuguese tradition to have all your family names in your name. So, yeah, I have 6 full names. So
Oh, wow.
Do you care to share?
this might be a security concern.
And then we would
yeah,
like
no,
your
my-
social as well, please.
Yeah. So my social security number is no. My full name is Luís Miguel de Medeiros Gamboa Varela Soares.
I'm not gonna try to say that.
Yeah.
I am.
We're gonna go.
Miguel.
Yeah, that's exactly what it sounds like when he says it. No, actually our foreign roots is someone ties into our name for the company. So
Okay. Oh, that's going to be good to dive into that in a minute.
Yeah, sure.
How did you come about being in Oklahoma?
Well, I was, like I said, I had joined the military. I spent a lot of time in Southeast Asia, both as an active duty Marine, and then I got out and did a little bit of contract work. And after about 7 years of living that lifestyle, I eventually decided to move stateside, and I was just looking for a job. And it so happened that I linked up with a company that was based out of Florida. They did simulation work and tech ops stuff. So they had a position open. Asked me if I had a preference on geographical location. I basically said I preferred north over south, east over west, and they suggested I go to Oakland. So, so I was like, "Is that Oakland, New York? Does that even exist?" No, I didn't want to go there. And the next option was Oklahoma City. I had never been here before, and literally with 2 dogs in tow, I came sight unseen and showed up here in 2010.
All right.
And it just,
Kinda
eventually,
stuck?
yeah, kind of stuck. Well, I've always been kind of transient.
Yeah.
But I had the fortune of meeting my my wife here. So Amber and I got married a couple years ago, and I think I'm pretty much married to the state now. So
Yeah, for sure.
Now you can't leave.
yeah.
Well, so you wanted to go north, south, east, west. You ended up right in the middle.
Smacked in the middle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, as far as my story goes, like I said earlier, my father was in the military. He was actually stationed in Lawton, Fort Sill. I pretty much grew up in Lawton, Fort Sill. Went to Oklahoma State, graduated,
All
go
right.
Pokes. And after graduation, I went to Kansas City for a little bit. Had the opportunity to come back to Oklahoma City, be closer to family and friends. So I took that new position here in Oklahoma City and have been here for probably the last 10, 11 years now. So
All right.
Nice.
Very cool.
So like very varied backgrounds, but kind of similar as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's interesting.
foreign, like Europeans, military lifestyle,
Yeah.
like ended up in Oklahoma.
Yeah.
Meet through jujitsu, martial arts, and
That, I was just
kind
about
of
to ask that.
hit it
Like,
off.
how did you guys cross paths, and how did this whole coffee company begin?
Yeah, jiu-jitsu is obviously how we met. Can I take a quick step back?
Yeah.
I didn't realize how equally we were, or like how similar our backgrounds were, until I saw. My mom's gonna kill me for saying this. Until I saw his mother give him a hard time, and it made me shudder a little bit. I was like, "Oh my God, that sounds like my European mother giving me a hard time," and that pretty much solidified it. And yeah, we've been
You're like, we're one and the same.
and the rest is history.
The same European culture, same the mother mentality, the strong, woman that has, will do anything for you, but at the same time will strike the fear of God in
Right.
you pretty quickly.
very opinionated.
Very opinionated, but will go to the end of the earth to support you and
Absolutely.
really take care of you. So I think, nothing but love for both of our moms. They've done nothing but, help us and guide us,
And
all
scare
our-
you just a little bit.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
scare us a lot, and all of my friends. So,
No,
I feel like they take some pleasure in that.
Yeah.
oh yeah,
I
absolutely.
think so.
Absolutely. So how do we become a company? Kind of like what was our origin story?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Coffee's been a big part of my life since I was really, really young. My family had a big part in playing that. We've always had coffee around the house. I remember being very young and my granddad coming home from work and having lunch and drawing his espresso. And so like that was just a very familiar thing for me. Like the stovetop percolators, the kind of very, very old dingy espresso machine that was probably about 3 years past its prime. And that was just part of our culture growing up with that. It's you eat, when you get up, you have espresso. You walk to work, you have your espresso on the way. You probably have one while you're there, and that pattern continues all the way until you go to bed at night. So
how do you even go to bed?
Right,
at night?
because you'll have an espresso after dinner, right?
Yes, yeah,
Help with digestion.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, yeah.
An espresso and a little shot of Sambuca. Not, of course, at 7 years old, but
Right.
not much later. So,
Not much later.
8 years old.
yeah, 8 years old. So I kind of grew up with coffee, and I had a lot of reverence for my grandfather, and he was kind of a hero for me, and so that's I think that matured my love for coffee as well. As I got older, of course, we immigrated stateside, and it was just a part of our routine. It's always been. Coffee's always been with me for every high point, every low point, every meeting, every conversation.
Gotcha.
And then you throw in the history of coffee and how crazy that is.
Right.
And like, how do you not love coffee, right?
Right.
I mean, so, and then building a company off of that just seems like the logical next step, right?
Yeah, of
Yeah.
course.
If you
Logical.
love something, you do it full time.
Right.
Yeah, I mean,
Right. And like Chef Black said, when you're doing something that you love, you never have to work a day in your life.
that's true, but you've never worked next to Dom. So,
Harsh,
no, I
harsh.
take that. I'm just kidding. So.
No, he doesn't.
So y'all accomplished something pretty huge with the FDA in your coffee. Tell us a little bit about that.
Correct. Yeah. We kind of have a little feather in our cap. We are actually the only FDA-approved manufacturer of cold brew coffee in the state of Oklahoma that can resell our product.
That's
Okay.
awesome.
So what that means is essentially we're the only people that can package it and sell it to other stores, other locations. However we want to sell it, we can pretty much do that. What others are currently doing are they have the point of sale set up. So you can make cold brew at your business and sell it at your store without going through all the requirements and regulations of the FDA and be good to go.
Right.
The fact that we wanted to really get the highest quality, the most clean product that we can one day just spread across the nation.
Right.
We wanted to take those steps to get full FDA approval.
Yeah.
Granted, it took us 2 years to do that.
Right.
I was gonna say that's an easy process, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what we thought initially
You
because
started this yesterday and
you know,
it's done today?
Miguel didn't really get into the background of like really how Rome started. The fact that he probably spent a mortgage on a month coffee is really why Rome started. I think his wife really said, "Hey, like you're spending a little bit too much money on coffee. You need to figure out something else." So he started brewing his own coffee. We actually had another business partner, or he had a business partner at the time that kind of conceptualized and helped him get down that path. Let me try it. I liked it. I'd like to say that I am kind of the person that is pushing the agenda, while Miguel is just the extreme hard worker.
Yeah.
I have a mind to like say, okay, I like this idea. Let's run with it. Let's get it moving. And he is the one that will just make everything work and spend the meticulous hours of perfecting it and really crafting it and getting it and spot on. So we really complement each other as far as how the coffee business works for us.
That's so important in a partnership
For
that
sure.
you both know your strengths.
Yeah, we really do, and I think we play well off each other.
Yeah.
We both, could put our foot down and say, hey, this is the direction that we got to go. And because of the friendship that we had developed through jiu-jitsu and just life in general, we have a great respect and fondness for one another. Like, I mean, he's a brother to me. He's part of my family.
Yeah.
He's essentially, the godfather to my kiddos. So we have all these things in place that made it that much easier to coexist with different personalities sometimes
Yeah.
from a coffee business.
Yeah.
But like I said, it's 100% complimentary, and
Yeah,
that's
I think that's
really,
fantastic.
Really how we got
And
down that
so
path.
the name Rome Coffee, you said that was kind of well, actually, tell me, how'd you come up with the name Rome?
Well, to me, it really just signifies kind of our journey through life.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? We're not really, he's more transient. He's been in a lot of places. We're both product of immigration, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
We grew up in different parts of the world. And all of our lives, we've been essentially traveling, meeting
Mm-hmm.
new people, spending time in different locations. And that's kind of what the Rome name signifies for us. In addition to that, you have the buffalo, the wandering
I
buffalo.
love that. Y'all need to make
ties-
some T-shirts if
Exact-
you haven't already.
We do, and we're working on another order, by the way, for
Yeah.
all the fans out there and customers.
Like people will, I'm sure, are going gaga over that
Exactly.
label.
So
So
we're
cool.
we're definitely trying to tie it back into the state.
Yeah.
With the buffalo and the roaming buffalo and
Yeah.
everything like
Yeah.
that. So especially growing up in Lawton, Fort Sill, we had the wildlife refuge.
Right.
Everything kind of ties and blends itself together to the name and
Yeah.
our journey
Yeah.
thus far.
I think that's great.
Yeah,
that's a
awesome.
good story.
Yeah. So let's get down to the coffee, right? You fell in love with coffee. I mean, how could you not with the history? So what about that made you fall in love? And then you only do cold brew.
We only do cold brew.
So what sets that apart from regular coffee?
Not
Not that cold brew is irregular by any means, but,
right, no,
but the coffee
absolutely.
that people are used to, right? The hot coffee.
So on the first part of your question, as far as kind of why we were drawn to coffee, I believe that's what it was. Yeah, I mean it's a crop. It's one of the biggest crops that we have in the world, right? It's second to oil. It's probably one of the biggest things that's exported around. It affects so many communities all around the world, and it's just got such a crazy history from major heists of coffee plants to the Pope trying to bless coffee to Sweden trying to test, the horrible aspects of coffee on its convicts back in the 1700s. I mean, like literally, we could have a podcast just on that,
Right.
for a while. So, like, there's so much cool history there, and that's always been something that's near and dear to my heart. So I mean that's kind of why I love coffee, and it tastes good and it gets you going.
Yeah.
That's why I love coffee. It gets you going.
But cold brew specifically, like we really feel that we're not to say that we're a one-trick pony, but we want to do one thing really, really well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you like
Right.
kind of specialize.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
and I say that a lot when we meet people. If you don't walk away after trying our cold brew and think that that's one of the best cold brews that you've ever tried, at least ever tried in the state,
Yeah.
then we're doing something wrong. Cold brew isn't better than other coffee; it's just another option. I mean, you have so many different ways to brew coffee. The percolators, the siphon methods, the Cuban styles, the Turkish styles, the Keurigs, whatever it is.
Yeah.
It really, all of those different types and all of those different methods appeal to a certain type of drinker, right? And cold brew is different because it provides different things for that different taste. If it's a fresh, refreshing beverage, it's lower in the acidity content. Ours is very, very low in the acidity content, which is one of the reasons it took us a while to get through our FDA approval. When you strip away some of that acidity, when you strip away some of those oils that you're going to get when you're brewing hot, I think the individual characteristics of the coffee beans are going to be able to shine that much better. So with our blend, the blend that we're currently using, you could really kind of experience those three countries that are bringing our beans to the table. And because they have three different distinct characteristics that you experience as you drink that coffee from beginning to end, and even as you exhale after consuming it. And that's what we're looking for. We're looking for coffee a coffee experience that's just top notch, and people really enjoy it, and leaves a memorable experience in their minds. And it's not, it's not drinking an espresso. It's something different.
Yeah.
I'm a cold coffee drinker, so I could drink that
I would hope
pretty
you
much
were.
year. Well, I mean, I drink it year round, so it's just something I've always enjoyed, and it's of course something I wanted to do more of. So
That'd be quite a twist if Miguel was like, I actually brew my coffee with a French press.
yeah,
I don't drink cold brew.
I really don't even like it. No.
yeah. The secret is I just drink tea.
So where do you source your beans?
Oh, do you want to take that?
Okay.
Yeah, we got 3 beans that we work with. We got a Indonesian bean. That's where we kind of get our chocolate notes. So anybody who's tried our coffee, as you drink it, kind of going backwards in this introduction. Let's start this over. So we have our Ethiopian beans. Those are the ones that are going to kind of bring the front notes of the coffee. So you're going to get a lot more of an earthier flavor, a little bit of that nutty flavor. On the back end, we have an Indonesian bean from the Java region, and those beans are typically heavier in the chocolate notes. So as you ingest the coffee and you kind of let it sit, and as you exhale, you should get like a nice bloom of just chocolate. Not like I'm eating a Hershey's bar, but like nice pure chocolate tastes.
Mm-hmm.
And then and that was our original blend, and we were really, really happy with that, but it just wasn't quite there. So we brought in a Brazilian bean, which is kind of what makes up the middle of our flavor profile, and you kind of get some of that cane sugar caramel out of that. And the minute we did that, I mean, I remember we poured it out of our test batch, swirled it, sniffed it, and then Dom and I tried it, and both of our eyes just lit up.
Yeah.
And we didn't even have to say anything. We
That's
just
awesome.
knew that
was it.
So
That's really cool.
What is the correct way to taste cold brew coffee?
man, that's subjective. You don't cup. We use the same style as like with hot coffee, like cupping, like the way that they do cupping of regular hot brews. We use a lot of those same techniques for cold brew coffee, but it really depends. It's really kind of aerating it in, gives you one set of the flavor profile, kind of putting it in and swishing around, swallowing it will give you a different set of flavors. And then, of course, what you're getting after you exhale is gonna show you a little bit more of that flavor as well. So typically, when we're testing our coffees, we do cup hot, right? Because we want to know what the beans are like when they're roasted hot, and then we compare that to our beans cold brewed. We'll cold brew our blends individually. Or prior to blending, we'll brew the individual beans and test those cold, and that gives us an idea for how to start putting our ratios together. And then from there, it's like Kentucky windage, when you're
Right.
shooting, you gotta keep adjusting until you get it to where it's supposed to go.
Secret formula number 212.
No, that is no joke.
That's really what it was. I mean, we spent in super high quality hot coffee will not always translate to great quality cold brew.
Right.
The FDA process that we've developed, it's pretty rigorous. It's a lot of steps and processes that get us to almost a lab sterile product, and a lot of coffee doesn't hold up well to that processing that we put it through. We exchange time or heat for time, basically. So a lot of coffees that are super high quality for a hot coffee came out really bitter. They didn't hit the flavor profile that we wanted. It almost transformed, the experience that we expected. So yeah, it really was like sample batch 2400.
Right.
And they were like, oh, that's a good one.
Right.
And then we had to really hone in on the ratio, because the next problem that you have is when you scale up to doing 50-gallon batches, brew times, exposure to the water for all the coffee grounds, grind size, all those are really important details that we have to stay on top of.
Yeah.
It doesn't quite scale like a math equation.
No, it definitely doesn't.
Yeah.
It definitely
Like you
doesn't.
can't just be like, I'm just gonna double everything and it'll be the same.
Right.
Well, and then coffee does weird things. I mean, the coffee that you drink now will be different than the coffee that you drink 6 months from now. It'll be the same beans grown in the same region, but they just are gonna taste a little bit different because of the time that they were picked or the way that they
Right,
were
that makes
stored.
It's a
sense.
crop, right?
Right.
Exactly.
So when you develop one flavor, you actually develop two flavors depending on what time of the year it is.
Okay.
And it's cool. I mean, it kind of gives us that craft coffee feel because it's not something that is. We're letting the beans kind of speak for themselves.
Yeah.
You know, and we're not trying to, do artificial things in order to keep this like stringent level of
Yeah.
consistency year round. We want the bean to do what it's supposed to be doing. We want the coffee to be presented.
Authenticity.
Yeah,
of the bean.
absolutely.
Yeah.
So some batches you definitely might get a little bit more of that mocha, that chocolate flavor, or some batches you might get a little bit more of the earthiness. But overall, you know that the process that we're putting the coffee through, it'll get you close in that range, but
Right.
you'll feel the flavor profile of the beans individually.
Is after drinking this cold brew, I saw you guys at the OSU Farmers Market, and does it have more caffeine in it than like a normal cup of coffee?
I was just like, I wasn't able to sleep all night.
Yeah,
I mean, I did drink 3 glasses of it.
we definitely are more caffeinated than your typical standard hot brewed coffee. The ranges for cold brew are typically in the 16 to 18 milligrams of caffeine per ounce.
Okay.
So if you're doing about 10 ounces, you're almost at 200 milligrams.
I thought he was going to stop at
explains it.
16 to 18 per serving,
Yeah.
but then he said
Explains
an
it.
ounce.
I think your normal recommended caffeine content per day is, I think, maybe 280. So
Yeah, who follows the norms?
yeah,
man?
who follows the norms though? We're trying to keep everybody up and energized and enjoying their coffee.
No, I loved it so much. And then at the farmers market, which I would like to give a shout out to the OSU OKC Farmers Market. Like they've got a really nice setup.
Absolutely.
You guys have a tent, and you actually can, if you go to the farmers market, you can get a cup of their cold brew there, and you also have it on nitro.
Correct.
So good.
Thanks.
I was going to say, ooh.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, so good. And then I think the one that you guys made me, is it vanilla lavender?
Yes, it is.
I
It's
remember.
one of our biggest hits.
So good. Are you gonna bag that?
We are trying to do that. We thought we might do something for a point of sale situation. As far as
Like have a little tasting room.
yeah,
That's-
that's the
that's
end
coming.
goal. That's the
Yeah.
end goal. That definitely is. The lavender vanilla bean kind of simple syrup cold brew infusion that we sell like hotcakes is something that we conceptualized for a hangover brunch event actually a few
Yeah,
months
I
ago.
can get behind that.
And we made it for this event and everybody loved it. And we just said, hey, like we need to create this menu item for the farmers market. And it's been one of our top sellers. Like I said, it just lets you know how you can doctor up the cold brew and how our coffee really holds up well to
Yeah.
different types of simple syrups or creamers or anything of that nature. And you can really get different experiences. But the base of everything is our original signature blend
Right.
cold brew.
So do you, with the lavender, vanilla, I don't know anything about this process, but do you brew it with some of those elements, or is that like a
added
post-batch mix?
Yeah, it's post batch. Our goal was to provide those pouches, those 50-ounce pouches that we sell, and the idea behind that is that you could sit down with a friend across the table, and you could have your favorite cup of coffee, Oklahoma's cold brew, but doctor it the way that you want to doctor it.
Yeah.
You're starting off at like a great canvas, and you could put whatever you want in that to make it the way that you want to drink it. So if we ever do go down the road where we are adding any sort of flavors and stuff, we haven't quite figured out the best path for that, but I think we'll most likely stick to selling our infusions on the side.
Yeah, I think
So-
that's a great idea. And to be honest, I was totally surprised how much I liked it, because I thought it would be a little weird having the floral flavors of the lavender, and it totally was perfect.
No, yeah, it definitely is. It's the floral hints in there, and the little bit of sugar that's added to the coffee kind of brings out other notes of the coffee
Yeah.
itself, and they just play very well together. So yeah, we hear that a lot, and just in regards to our coffee in general, like people a lot of times say like, I always add this or that to it, but I really like your guys' stuff and I could drink it straight. And that's
Yeah.
kind of one of the most rewarding things that we hear.
For sure.
Because you could pretty much doctor up any coffee out there with enough sugar and creamer and
Right.
just change what it is. You're not drinking coffee at that point.
You're drinking the creamer and the
So
sugar.
exactly. So when you get somebody that is used to doing that and limits it or even drinks it black, you're doing something right, and we really appreciate that feedback.
Yeah, I
but
can't typically drink black coffee,
for sure.
but I can with this. Like, it's not hard. It's not. You don't have that bitterness that I feel like a lot of black coffee has.
And that's the magic of the cold brew, right? That acidity and the bitterness is kind of toned down, as opposed to the
that kind of in conjunction with our processing, we don't ever introduce heat to our product at all. So we don't have a pasteurization process. We don't do anything extreme that will change the flavor profiles of what you're supposed to get from the beans.
Right.
And that's why it basically took us 2 years to design a process that got us approval.
I mean, people talk about, which, I won't lie, I like Starbucks, but people will say that they feel like their beans are like burnt.
Over-roasted?
Yeah. And I can't drink it straight, like just black, but this I totally can.
Yeah.
Sure.
That kind of goes to your point of trying to standardize it throughout, right? That's something that they had to do so that every Starbucks would taste the same.
Yeah, it makes them be able to be a little bit more consistent. So they tend to over roast it, and but they still get a quality bean. So don't get me wrong, I have done Starbucks in the past, and they have some really good coffee. But the fact that ours kind of stands alone, and we're not introducing that heat, and we're not getting the residual oils, and it's more of just a local process that we've really put our heart and soul into, and want to. If we could cut our teeth here in Oklahoma, and get the locals to really appreciate it and understand it, we could do it anywhere.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I'm actually going to bring some to my friend in Houston. She loves cold brew. And she just had a birthday, so I was like, I have something special for you. Yeah.
That's cold brew enemy territory. You know that, right?
Really?
No, I mean that's a lot of cold brew started down there. I mean that's where
Austin, Houston, those are the big, started that run of cold brew, and with Starbucks assistance, obviously, I think coffee in general has just became more of a norm, and people understand that there's signature coffees out there, there's craft coffees, and they appreciate the effort and work that goes into it. So,
yeah.
So right now you're at the farmers market, and you're available in a couple of different places.
We are. Yeah, we're at. You could always go to Bill Camp's. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that establishment,
The
but
meat
they're
market?
right. Yeah, they have a really awesome made in Oklahoma area. And they've been around for 110 years, so
Yeah. And I know, like, when this releases, it's going to be just a couple days before Father's Day, but they had like a Father's Day special with y'all's coffee included.
Yep, they
what
do.
a fantastic idea.
Yeah.
they're awesome. They really are.
Yeah, go on the social media and I believe like, share, and you get different entries into that. I think it's like a gift card and a couple of other odds and ends, and of course our Rome coffee.
Right.
So pretty excited about that. But we do sell there. We also are at Urban Agrarian. But you could order through their online farmers market, which if you don't know about, you have to look into.
No, I don't know about this online farmers market.
It's incredible. Yeah, we
and that's
sell
through
through
Urban
that.
Aquarium?
Yep, and you'll also find both our pouches and our bottles at both of their stores. So yeah, their online farmers market basically they know what vendors could supply to them, and they match up with a variety of local vendors, and I mean Oklahoma vendors and some state regional vendors, but all unique stuff from within our backyards. And as a vendor, I tell them, hey, look, I could produce X amount for you this week. So Matt Birch, who's the founder of that establishment, he puts together a list every Saturday, I believe. It goes live to everybody that's on that mailing list, and it says, hey, here's what I have available. And it's an online store. You go in, you buy whatever you want, and then they'll package it up for you. Us as vendors get the orders, and we deliver it to them. And they'll have it ready for you guys to rock and roll, I think like on Fridays and Saturdays. So you support local. You're getting incredibly fresh stuff, and you're keeping the waste down to a minimum because
because I mean that's totally a thing.
Yeah, it's a really cool concept.
That is a great concept. I'm so excited to learn about this.
It's super awesome. They'll have it ready to go for pickup. It's all combined for you, and I mean, and it's also fun for the vendors because we specifically see like the Logan family bought 4 pouches, or this person bought 4 bottles. Like you see all that on the orders that come in, so it helps us prepare, and like Miguel said, it keeps waste down and lets us know how much we have to manufacture specifically for both their Edmond and Oklahoma City locations.
That's awesome.
So there's that. We're also at a couple of gyms, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and MMA gyms. We're at Legacy Martial Arts.
Kind of where you got your start.
Yeah, in Rafael Lavato's School of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. So you can find usually our bottles at both those spots. And both of those organizations have been very supportive of us, and many, many more places to go where we're working on. We're chatting with a variety of different spots right now to try to get that going. If you happen to do business with Thrive Insurance, you'll see we installed a kegerator for them in their office.
Oh, cool.
So don't let them hide that from you. Just sneak in the back and take a little bit of Rome coffee. So we do that as well. We set up, built-ins and whatnot for companies and establishments around the city. And
gosh,
we could pretty much do anything.
More employees. Maybe I just get one for myself.
No, we can take care of that.
If you want our flat cold brew or nitro on tap, we have
the
cold
nitro
brew.
tap,
we do.
We definitely do.
Yeah, we have a little saying where we say pretty much if you need anything from 8 ounces to 50 gallons, we got you covered.
Nice.
So,
very cool.
Yeah, and we'll even deliver. As we're kind of ramping things up, as our schedules permit, we make runs to Lawton, Fort Sill, and there's a couple companies and friends that that we like to support down there that like to purchase our products. Johnson & Johnson Locksmith is one of them. So as time and our schedules permit, we'll get cold brew to pretty much wherever you need it to go.
So is that kind of your short-term, long-term plan, getting your product into more places for them to sell?
Yes.
Are you planning in the future to have your own brick and mortar? Or are you thinking mostly getting it in other businesses?
For right now, we're definitely a manufacturer, a wholesaler, essentially. So we definitely, our first goal is to get it to a number of businesses and kind of see that growth and that kind of positive trajectory, kind of cultivate its own, network. But ultimately, what Miguel and I have talked a lot about is, we want to really experience coffee and cold brews and almost treat this like a brewery.
Yeah.
We utilize some of the same equipment. So if we could have our own brick and mortar to where you could see the process happen.
Yeah, totally.
You could have a range of cold brew on taps. Upstairs you envision a cocktail bar, since we do already make some cocktails and mixtures with our drinks. And just an environment where you could kind of show that education. We're all about learning, and we've really dove into this world of coffee and want to. We don't want it to be a one-stop shop for just a cup. We want it to be an experience where we could give
bringing
back,
the community together.
We give back to the community that has essentially adopted us. We're Oklahomans now, and we just want to share that experience with everybody else and continue to grow it.
I love the idea of a coffee brewery and
that'd be so cool.
being able to see the action behind the scenes while enjoying some coffee cocktails. I can just envision this. It's very cool. I can't wait to go.
And we had there's a certain aspects of creating a consumer packaged good that this state is just not really at a point where they could do that easily.
Yeah.
There's just not the support structure here. And that's why a lot of beverage companies start in Texas and start in other states, because they have that infrastructure. So, I mean, if we're thinking pie in the sky dreams, you know, we want to be able to not only have our facility open to the public to where they could see what our state is doing and how it is awesome and enjoyed, you know, regionally and nationwide, but we also want to be able to provide that expertise and help for, you know, new companies coming in that are trying to get their foothold in the door, whether
Kinda
it be
give
coffee or
back.
something else. Yeah. So we have a lot of lofty dreams and a lot of like ideas that we want to, you know, see come into play. But we, like Dom said, he made a statement earlier. If we could cut our teeth on Oklahomans, then that will really launch us the rest of the way.
Right.
It's kind of this like our proving grounds.
sure.
And if we could provide that excellent customer service, that consistency, like we have been, then there's no reason why we can't use that as a launching pad to make Rome Oklahoma's cold brew, like Coop is Oklahoma's beer.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You
I was
know.
just about to say, you want to do kind of what craft beer and Coop has done to Oklahoma for coffee.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
They really have, and you know they're building a new facility over there by the state capitol.
Yeah.
So they're doing really big things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's so exciting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is
I love
amazing.
it.
So that, I mean, really looking forward to everything you guys do in the future.
Mm-hmm.
I think this is really exciting. The cold brew is fantastic. We just had some.
Yeah.
So
So good.
thanks again for bringing that.
Awesome. We appreciate
absolutely.
it. Thank you guys for
And,
inviting us.
and well, we still have some kitchen sink or no?
Yeah, we do. We're not
Yeah.
going to forget about the kitchen
Yeah, I'm
sink.
like,
I was just thanking them and putting them
Okay.
at ease.
Before we get,
yeah.
all right, let me stretch out. Hold on.
And you guys stop by the farmer's market so you can try this on Nitro. Is there anywhere else
I
you
need
can
to do that.
try it on Nitro?
If we do events, we try to marry up with you know, charitable organizations
Yeah.
and other things as much as we can. So if we have an opportunity to bring that in, we will. We're currently in talks with a couple local restaurants to try
That's
to
what
put that
needs
on
to
Nitro.
happen.
So hopefully those communications work out well, and these establishments see the value that we could bring. So you'll be
Some
able to
brunch
do that.
spots.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
That'd
So
be amazing, yeah.
there's a lot of things working.
Another event that we do have coming up is the Cookies and Cocktails event.
Yeah, I was just talking to
Cookies
Nabil
and
about
cocktails.
that.
Yeah, it's happening early August. It's basically an event that is sponsoring the Girl Scouts
Yeah.
organization, and all proceeds will go back to the Girl Scouts.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, we're going to be a vendor there. Well, not a vendor, but somebody that's.
Are y'all
doing
going to
that.
be doing some blending with the Girl Scout cookies and coffee?
We are.
And
We're
cold brew?
gonna do. We have a couple things in mind.
Okay.
I think one, it will potentially be kind of like a mimic on the s'mores cookie that they have.
Uh-huh.
Using our coffee as kind of the chocolate base, but having like a graham cracker and marshmallow.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
It's gonna be fun, and I think we might do half and half. There will be some actual cocktails,
There might be some
Yeah.
adult beverages.
some adult beverages there. So
Right. I just learned about this. Our friend Logan with Edible Excellence.
he's awesome.
He is, he contacted me. I'm donating a gift certificate from Pino's Palette as one of the auction items. And so I was looking into this more, and I guess several places, restaurants that have strong cocktail programs are creating cocktails with Girl Scout cookies. I think that's
That's
like
interesting.
a win.
It's a win-win, yes,
right?
for a great cause, and they have
Great
some awesome
cause,
cookies
great
that you can
drinks,
make.
great
Yeah,
cookies,
exactly.
Great coffee.
You can't see my face, but I'm vigorously nodding yes.
Yeah, yeah.
We're gonna win the challenge though too. We're gonna
Oh,
we're gonna
yeah.
have
Strong words.
the best beverage. I'm
Well,
telling you.
I
Strong
plan
word.
on. I am hoping I'm gonna be in town so I can go. I need it,
Yeah,
and you
sounds
can get your
interesting.
tickets.
Yeah. I think Edible Excellence will obviously have them on the social media. He's going to release the information to us so we can put it all over our social media and how you could get tickets. So definitely like look for us on Facebook, Instagram. We'll be keeping people posted about what we're going to
For sure.
bring to the table for
And then
that
we'll
event.
post that whenever you post it.
Yeah,
and
awesome.
you'll
We'll
make
help
this
spread the
little
word.
chain
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
posting.
For sure.
Networking, man.
That's-
It's the
that's
way
how-
things get
that's how it
done, right?
goes.
Yeah.
Absolutely. All right, let's do this kitchen sink.
Let's do it. You guys ready?
Yes.
I'm ready.
Do you stretch out before grappling or?
There's not a lot to stretch here. I'm pretty, I just go.
I'm not in my jiu-jitsu body right now, so I may hurt myself if I try to do it around the world right now.
That's funny. All right. So when did you have your first sip of coffee, and what was your reaction?
Oh, I'll go with that one. My first sip of coffee was probably at kind of a coffee and cake little day party that my mom had with some of her friends. She would frequently have get-togethers where they would just talk shop, and I was probably 4 or 5 years old and trying to steal some cookies or some cake, and saw something to drink and drank it. My first exposure was on the sweeter side of coffee with a little bit of milk and sugar.
Not too shocking.
So it wasn't like the pow of an espresso.
Right. Yeah.
But that was the introduction. That's where I really started to develop a flavor and a appreciation of the coffee taste.
All right.
So I've liked the flavor
Since
5 or 6 years
Wow.
old. And usually when I was younger, it paired with something sweet. But
Yeah.
as I got older, I just started to appreciate it more and more.
You drank the coffee for the cake.
Drink the cake.
Or I just dumped the whole cake in the coffee and
There
then
you
just
go.
made a big smoothie. I don't know really what happened.
What about you, Miguel?
7 years old. Yeah, I was 7 years old, and it was lunchtime. My granddad made an espresso, and I ended up sneaking that away and drinking that down. And I actually really loved it.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. But I mean, I've been smelling it for so long and been kind of accustomed to
and
it.
I do feel like both of you were introduced to it in a different way, where it was like part of life.
For sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's just a different
Yeah.
culture.
For me, like I really had to become accustomed to it. Like started off really, really sweet coffees and had to kind of wing myself. It's kind of the same thing with wine. Like you start off with the sweet wine and then you learn like to like the
Kind of wean yourself
At least,
off.
Yeah.
at least you started. My wife refuses to drink coffee.
Are you serious?
I have a coffee
Fun
business.
fact.
Yes, I have a coffee. Shout out to Madison. I love you with all my heart.
Try the coffee.
But just try
the coffee.
Just drink the cold brew, babe. Just drink it.
Yeah, I remember when my wife and I first were dating, she had a Keurig, and we eventually moved in together, and I was helping her move out, and I accidentally, air quotes, dropped the Keurig down the flight of
I
stairs.
was wondering what you did with it.
It still did not break. Those things are made so well.
Shout out to Keurig.
But now we're strict French press drinkers.
Nice.
Nice. You've done some innovative things with coffee, right? The lavender, vanilla, on nitro. What's the craziest thing that you think you've done with coffee?
Can we say like what PG level we're going to here, or
Wow.
As high as you want to go.
as in,
You just gave me a coffee shower like Sunday.
Coffee shower.
yeah. That was a
Let's tone it back a little.
That was a funny story. It had us both on the floor laughing. It was a coffee mishap. No, craziest. I mean, I've drank a lot of coffee. I've probably drank more coffee than I should have. I remember when I was in the Marine Corps, I used to pocket coffee beans whenever I could, or like coffee packets, instant coffee and whatnot. I would chew them or kind of tuck them in my lip and just to try to get through some of the humps of just the long marches and stuff
Right.
like that. But as far as coffee is concerned, I've always been pretty respectful of the crop, and I've not done anything too crazy.
Okay. Besides the coffee shower.
Yes, and I'll go ahead and tell the story. Essentially,
I was going to ask you to anyway.
we were installing a kegerator system in my office at work, getting everything hooked up. Next thing you know, Miguel hooks up the nitrogen, and because we don't have the handles or the taps on our kegerator system,
It was
the
an open
coffee
circuit.
immediately under 40 psi of pressure hits me directly in my stomach, all over my office, and just literally is a coffee shower.
It was we were on the phone with a friend, and I had to
Yes.
put him on mute because I
Screaming.
I felt bad, but at the same time, it was so ridiculously funny. I just couldn't help myself.
It's like when your friend falls, you laugh first.
yeah, and then
Exactly.
ask
And
if
you
they're
make sure
okay.
they're okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was enjoyable, I guess you could say. Really, it was payback because during a lot of our R&D when we first started out, there was a couple of times that I kind of painted their walls, his kitchen wall with coffee.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Similar issues, you
Yeah.
know, hooking up the gas before it should have been hooked up and coffee going everywhere. So it was
And
we're even.
Not to prolong this answer, but just kind of sneak this in here. My wife Amber has been incredibly patient with every step of this development. Because
Even with a coffee showered kitchen.
No, she's been an absolute champ. I remember she was standing there when coffee sprayed literally across our kitchen and went from ceiling to sink.
Oh, gosh.
Oh, wow.
And she didn't even get mad. I mean, she gave me a look.
She was like, "You're gonna clean that up, right?"
Oh yeah, but she had
She gave me a look.
She gave him a look too. No, but she's been great. She's been she's doing clinicals and she's trying to find time to help us brew and help us process and deliver. And
That's awesome.
She's been a real champ. I mean, our whole family has. It's
For sure,
been
super supportive. You know, my mother-in-law, my mom, everybody is super supportive.
That's fantastic. You really need that when starting a business.
sure.
Like the support helps so much.
Running a business is a team sport.
It really is.
It's a hard gig, man. And if you don't have a good support structure to kind of keep you going, sometimes it might become unmanageable. You know?
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. Side note: if you ever sell your house, you could kind of sell it as like a scratch and sniff wall.
Right?
Coffee just smell great.
A must-have for coffee lovers.
Exactly. Yeah.
You just gotta spin it the right way.
Yeah.
See,
Tell the realtor, man.
That's how it
That's
is.
funny.
The starts of Rome.
So this is kind of a random question, but we ask everybody. What is your favorite snack food?
I don't really have one.
What?
No, seriously. I don't. There's like I don't have something that I.
Regularly
Coffee
go to?
No. I mean, I drink a lot of
Coffee
coffee. No, I love chocolates.
Okay.
Right. I think one of my favorite desserts I have ever had is it is basically from when I was a kid. It was flan, but made like the Portuguese way. It's a little bit different, a little bit like the consistency. The consistency is a little bit different, but it's not something I go and have on a regular.
Right.
You know what I mean? But that's probably my favorite dessert. But I don't really have a go-to.
Yeah.
No snack foods.
No, not really.
Popcorn.
I, on the other hand, do. So
Okay.
but I'm gonna, kind of lead into this saying I've traveled all around the world, so I have a pretty decent palate. So don't judge me for this. But iced honey buns from the gas station are my vice.
That
Like it
is
is the
awesome.
most.
Okay.
It is refined sugar at its worst. The oil sometimes coming out of my wife thinks it's disgusting. But yes, that is my I don't know
hilarious.
what my problem is. I know how bad they
I
are.
don't know
for
what
me,
my problem is.
but it's an addiction. It really is. Like that is
funny.
my go-to. So
That's funny.
And that's
Hey.
what brings this podcast to the archives.
and store.
Okay, guys, thanks for coming.
That's really funny. Miguel, I was going to ask you, since you like chocolates, have you ever had the chocolates at La Baguette?
I've had stuff at La Baguette. I got a couple cakes from there once, and they were really, really good. Is there a specific
Well, there's
their individual serving stuff?
Yeah, they're little chocolates, and you
I
can get like a
haven't.
box of them.
I haven't.
And I don't know about if it's at all locations, but I know the location in Deep Deuce.
Okay.
They have a very great selection of lots of different little chocolates.
I'll have to check that out.
So good.
Okay, I will raise you your La Baguette and see you I'll see your La Baguette and raise you. Have you gone to Ganache Pasta?
Yes.
God, how do I
Yeah.
say that?
Yeah.
Yep.
Ganache
Patisserie.
Patisserie? Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. I could. That place.
We went when they first opened, and they weren't fully functioning yet. So I did get some macaroons,
Okay.
but we haven't been back since.
What
they've
would you
been-
recommend from there?
Anything. Literally, seriously. Like I am not one to really gravitate towards really fruity desserts and stuff. But everything he's got there, that they have there, because it's a husband and wife team, but is just. It looks like it belongs in a museum piece. It's so
Right.
beautifully done.
The few things that they had out there when we were there
was
just were
Right.
beautiful.
immaculate.
And often you see that plumage, right? It's so pretty.
Yeah.
And then you bite into it and you're like,
Yeah.
Like everything I've ever tried there just explodes in your mouth. And then not only that, but he has got an amazing palate for coffee. We struck a conversation on that. They're great. No. They're
be
well set up.
awesome.
No, they
Oh,
actually
what
have.
would that be?
They have cold brew there from a
Okay.
very, very good. They carry Yote coffee there, and their cold brew is very good. but he made his own blend for his espresso. And it is amazing. So if you like espressos, if you like those like macchiato type drinks, traditional macchiatos, man, it's a must-have. Go there, grab one of their
caramel
pastries.
macchiatos.
Not the Starbucks macchiato, but not putting those
that
down.
sounds like a perfect evening having some desserts and an espresso.
Yeah,
Sure.
Yeah.
Excellent place to do it.
Need a date. All right, next question.
Take me to Ganache, please.
Somebody, please.
If you're listening.
You can reach me on Instagram.
OKC Foodcast. Where do you guys have a favorite coffee shop in Oklahoma, or since you brew so much yourself, you don't really go out for it?
My favorite place to drink coffee. Well, obviously, I love. We just talked about
the Ganache
Patisserie. They're amazing. Probably one of my favorite places to go drink coffee. It's not really a coffee shop, but it's visiting with Todd Vinson over at Yote. They do. He does usually every Thursday. They do like an open house. And they're a local roaster. They're they make incredible coffees, and they always have hot brews on basically going. And they also keep a keg of cold brew going.
Cool.
And I've never gone there and not had a really good conversation with the passionate entrepreneurs and coffee lovers. It's just always have a blast there. So it's probably one of my favorite places to go.
Cool.
Agreed. I
You agree?
that's the same thing for me.
Yeah.
I mean, I actually do also have a little local All About You.
Yeah.
Right down the street from my house. That they do a really good job, real great with customer service, and it's just a good experience as well. But first and foremost, it would be at Yote visiting with Todd and just having that appreciation of conversation with somebody else that cares about coffee as much as we do,
Right.
and that will pick our brains and we can pick his brains at the same time, and it's kind of like just helping one another out, helping grow. There's no like secretive things going on. It's just we want him to be extremely successful, and he wants the same for us, and we appreciate that
Yeah,
tremendously.
that's awesome.
Yeah.
And he'd be a great person for you guys to reach out to. They've got an awesome program with some incredible charity work that he's doing around the city. He has the Boys Ranch for underprivileged youths, and the guy has just got a heart of gold. So huge
Fantastic.
endorsement for those guys. Yeah.
Very
Awesome.
cool.
Well, we'll have you put us in touch with them.
Definitely.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, we'll-
Yeah, we'd
Sure.
love to have him on.
Yeah. All right, this is another random question. Favorite place to pick up food from and just, Netflix, take it home, chill. Where are you picking your food up from on the reg?
On the reg.
On the reg. If my wife and I are going to slack off and slouch on the couch and binge watch on Netflix, we are probably going to get Hideaway Pizza.
All right.
Good choice.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hideaway is just can't go wrong.
Right.
You know something interesting I learned about Hideaway? This is like my fun fact that I tell everyone now.
What?
All the Hideaways are different.
What
do you mean?
What do you mean?
different?
Like you go to
Wait. Time out. You have all three of us. What? No.
Wait, what?
Excuse
Like different menus?
Yeah, they can. So they're all.
Are they all individually owned? Not all.
Yeah, so it's not like a consistent. This is the crust. This is the sauce. This is how you bake it. They get like their own
Put their own spin on
freedom
things.
to be able to
Wow.
do things the way they want to because they're all individually owned.
That's really
Interesting.
cool. I didn't know that.
That's why the original in Stillwater is the best.
Ah.
That is what a lot of people say.
I might have to go up there.
All right. So Hideaway for you. What about you, Dom?
Not saying that there might not be similarities.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My wife and I would probably sushi bar. We're big sushi fans.
Yeah.
Even though I don't always do the like nigiri or sashimi, sometimes I have to add a little bit of cream cheese to some of the rolls. But
That's all right. That's all right. No shame.
it would definitely be sushi and a nice show or a movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That sounds
Sushi
good.
bar, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, after 10.
Late night sushi.
Yeah,
yes.
Yeah.
that's where I usually end up.
Nice.
It's awesome. You guys have been all over the world. If there's one place that you like love the food culture, where is that?
Man, like that's like saying what culture is like your favorite, and that's a hard question to answer because food is culture.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
We weren't making this easy.
I've had look, I've eaten a fully cooked goat, laid like splayed out on the table, brains, eyes, the whole bit in Southeast Asia. I've had the most amazing carbonara pasta in Italy. My mom makes one of the most delicious octopus stews that I still love to this
sounds
day.
amazing.
I don't know, man.
Does your wife like it?
My wife is not a huge fan of that particular dish, but
He knew
No.
it when he was asking.
Sorry, Amber.
I don't know. Yeah, it's hard to say. There's so many. I love Italian food, so
Okay.
maybe I'd go there, and I would probably gravitate towards Mediterranean because I think that's kind of what I grew up with. I
Yeah.
grew up on an island, so the seafoods, the oils, that type of stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I would never scope out any particular culture. I think they all have such wonderful merits.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good
Yeah, it'd be
answer.
stuck to.
It's tough.
It'd be tough to stick to a cuisine.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
We really are pretty similar. I think just based on my experience with my mom's homemade, German cuisine, and as well as being my dad being from the islands, there's a lot of like curry dishes and things like that I really love. But in addition to that, I've spent a lot of time in Greece with my godparents. And same, the Mediterranean,
Oh, yeah.
like the fresh seafood and salads and olive oils.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I could probably just do that like breakfast, lunch, and dinner, like
Right.
German, Caribbean, and Mediterranean, like every day, and just be
Never
a
get
happy,
tired of it.
Yeah, be a happy camper because
Yeah.
definitely been blessed and can have a lot of memories that I could just remember and experiences that I've enjoyed over
Right.
my life. So
Yeah.
That's awesome.
What would yours be? Does anybody ever return your questions back on you guys?
We've asked each other these questions.
We have, but no one does it during a recording.
No.
So.
Is that?
No,
I just
it's-
broke.
you're
I just
breaking
broke. I
protocol.
just broke
You're breaking
protocol.
all sorts of rules.
the rules right here.
God,
Pass
subparagraph.
out the rules when you got here.
The
All right.
email that we sent to you, you should have read it.
They're escorting me out right now.
I think at this moment it's between two places, Japan or Italy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And I mean, they're so distinctive,
it's like
right?
two powerhouses. Though.
Right.
So I don't know. I think right now I'm straying more towards Italy. A month ago it was Japan.
Yeah.
So it's because I've been like really thinking about like making my own pasta. And 'cause
Oh
it's,
yeah.
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 And then like tomato sauces and all these different sauces,
Yep.
and then
Yeah.
I don't know.
I wanna do the eat, pray, love thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, that's
It's
yeah.
such a good movie, and the
Absolutely.
food just looks incredible. Like
Yep.
life
A
goals.
little cooking vacation like in Italy.
Yeah,
Yeah, it'd be amazing.
Yeah.
It would be incredible.
Yeah, and I think both those places have the simplicity in their ingredients that they use.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
They don't try to overpower something. They're just like they let the ingredients speak for themselves. So I
Yep.
think that's what's attracting me towards
Really
both of them.
Right. 1000%.
All right, I promise I want to ask some more questions. Sorry, folks.
Oh, you can. You can. We'll just give you a hard time about it.
Yeah. Well, we just have one last question. This is sometimes the hardest question. What is your favorite restaurant in Oklahoma City?
Do you want to go first, Dom?
Sure.
He's saying he needs time to think.
No, I thought about this.
Mine would probably be the Mahogany
All right.
up north. They just
Solid
have
choice.
a great
Solid
steak,
steak, yeah.
and the sides, but just the whole environment, and from drinks to the steak to the sides, finishing it off with the key lime pie if they have it, is probably the number one meal that I,
I
have
haven't
right
had
now.
their key lime pie. Is it on point?
I'm not even. The thing about it is, I'm not even a key lime pie
Really?
fan at all. Like I
am.
never. I'm a honey bun guy. Like I
Oh,
said
yeah,
earlier.
that's right.
He
That's
told you his
right.
dessert of choice.
Like
He's gonna be sitting there. He eats this steak and then pulls out this honey bun.
exactly. That's
What's that rustling under the table, Tom?
that is my type of dessert. Just all the time and effort that goes into a honey bun. But no, seriously.
Imagine the research they have to do.
So, but yeah, I'm not even a key lime pie guy. But it is like the perfect key lime pie, and
Ooh.
it. Yeah,
We're gonna have to
great.
go and be the judge of
great.
this.
the judge of this.
Don't compare it to honey buns. Just go in there with an open mind.
I was just going to compare it
It's not
to
gonna live up to it.
Florida Keys
Yeah.
key lime pie.
Try it.
Yeah.
Let me know what you think.
All right.
So, a couple years ago, I would have answered it with West. They had a pepper soup that was made like a tomato bisque, like a tomato soup, warm. It was amazing. And then that was like the bookend on the front of the meal, and then you had their amazing pudding, bread pudding at the end. It had like the custard bits in there. They've changed their menu a lot since then, so they don't offer those two like they used to. So unfortunately, I can't pick them anymore. But
And I just learned that they just recently closed.
oh, completely.
But is that true?
Well, they should-
Yep.
That is true.
Well, they should
true.
not have gotten rid of
the bread pudding.
Bread pudding.
That's the problem.
Yeah, it's really sad to
That's
hear.
too bad.
But
Man.
So it was them. But now I would pick Ludwine.
Ludwig,
yeah.
that's a great choice.
But specifically because of their tastings. So
Okay.
not so much. I mean, of course, they have the rotating menu.
Yeah, yeah.
But like going in there and putting your fate in the hands of the chef.
Yeah.
And then and when you do that now, they make your whole party have that. So they prepare that meal for the whole table. It's like it's just a cool experience. Everybody
Yeah.
gets to share the same stuff.
I've done
You
that
get to-
once.
Oh God, it's
But it was
so
their
good.
original location. Have you been to their new location
I have
yet?
not been. I found out that they moved not that long ago,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, that would probably be my like if I was gonna blow out and really have like a good meal with
Right.
friends, and that would be the place that I think I would pick
Yeah, I
to,
love
to
tasting
go. And
menus. They're
last time
so
we
good.
had it was like a lobster ravioli, and it had the main dish I think was a venison. And then they also had the marrow toast.
Yeah, the bone marrow.
Oh, it was just
Oh gosh, the bone marrow toast. It is so good.
Oh, it's incredible. It was incredible, and it was such a great experience. So
Yeah.
yeah, I'll have to go. We'll have to go check out their
Yeah.
new spot and have a good
Yeah,
meal.
let Nabil and I know when you guys are going. We'll come too.
I haven't had
The more the
the
merrier.
I
Yeah.
haven't had the tasting at Ludovine, so
Oh, it's. I will never order any as long as I can talk other people into joining me.
Yeah, you
I
have to
don't
have some
think-
adventurous eaters.
Yeah.
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 we'll join if we're friends now.
No,
Yeah.
no, we're good.
Bill,
We're good.
we go way back.
Well, cool. I think this has been an awesome episode.
Yeah.
Is there anything else you guys want to add or plug?
No, I mean we're a new company. You know, come and see us. Really the best thing that we could say about our company is just to come try our coffee.
Yeah.
One that will speak for itself.
Yeah.
Thank you guys. I apologize for all the protocols that I've broken.
Such a troublemaker. Well, you're in the Marines. What?
for future podcast opportunities, I will exclude myself.
Yeah, but and also thank you for your service.
Thank you. No, yeah, we're just super happy to have the opportunity to do what we're doing in this state, have it be as supportive as it is, and be doing it with one of my best friends, and having our family supporting us. I mean, it's hard work, but I absolutely love every minute of it. So
Yeah.
yeah.
That's awesome. Very cool. Well, thank you guys so much. And you can find Rome Coffee Company on Instagram, Facebook.
Yep.
Is it Rome Coffee?
Co.
Yeah, romecoffee.co on Instagram, Rome Coffee Company on Facebook, and I believe we're Rome Coffee Company on Twitter as well.
All right.
Okay.
So
Yeah, show them some love. Go see them at the OSU Farmers Market. And be sure to follow us on Instagram and Facebook at OKC Foodcast. And if you'd like to collaborate or send us some listener feedback, we'd love to hear from you. You can email us at okcfoodcast@gmail.com.
And remember, share the love. Share this podcast with some of your friends, people who might love coffee, people who might love food, anything to do with food in Oklahoma, we'll try to talk about. So share this podcast with a fellow food lover and leave us a rating and write us a review. Those help. Those help more than you think they do.
Yeah, we would really appreciate it. So until next time, friends, eat well and be happy.
thank you.
Take care.